please join me in welcoming Oregon's U.S. Senator.
And for this permission to use this wonderful facility here at the university. We do face a challenging year ahead. America remains involved in two wars. We have a significant challenge in rewriting the rules for Wall Street. We have a significant challenge in getting lending going to Main Street, a significant challenge in assisting our families whose mortgages are underwater. We have a significant challenge redoing the energy economy of this nation so it'll be more affordable, so that we'll save more energy, so that we will reduce the costs, so we will spend less on energy from overseas, and certainly so it will contribute and improve to cleaning up our environment. Okay, and I believe that we had a student who wanted to kick this off. Yes?
Hello, Senator. My name is Stephen Land. I'm the athletic senator here on campus. So my question comes not just from a student, but from a representative of the student body here. I personally have 2 loans, and by the time I graduate, I'm going to be in more than $50,000 in debt. So what is your plan on getting more funding for education, or more availability for students for scholarships and grants?
Yes. There are 2 efforts that are underway. And first, thank you very much, Stephen, for your question. A little bit of background. We are now the first generation of Americans whose children are getting less education than we got. And it's because of this extraordinary cost. And so it is a major issue to be dealt with. The one significant effort is to significantly expand the Pell Grants and other scholarship and grant funding. The second is to undertake to produce a lot more lower cost loans, and what we have found is we can produce loans a lot more efficiently directly than we can indirectly when there's a middleman who takes a significant cut. So those are the 2 major pieces.
My issue is with the health care bill. I would like to see more in the bill about wellness and health than all the other issues that are being discussed. I feel that big business has a stranglehold on our health with tobacco, junk food, pharmaceutical companies, and I'm not hearing any of this. And I'd really like our government to be a mentor for health in America. Thank you.
Well, thank you for raising that question. And one of the things that's frustrating to me is there's a lot of wellness and health material in the bill, but it's not controversial, so it's getting debated very little.
Thank you. My name is Noreen Holteen. I live here in Ashland, and I want to take a little bit of my minute to say thank you for what you're doing for us. We think you're doing great. However, I would like to refer you back to the early 1980s when the beginning of the deleting of regulation in the economy, or in the banking industry particularly. If you recall, it started with the savings and loan and where that took us. And the regulations continue to be weak. We cannot afford for regulations of industry to be weak any more than we can afford for regulations against murder and mayhem to be weak on the streets. And it's time to strengthen those regulations and put the corporations back under the control. Particularly want to know what your intent is with regard to reinstating regulation of industry in the protection of people, because that's what we really need. And second, and that also of course addresses the problem of the student with the student loans, because when profits are being made out of essentials for human condition, then we're walking down the wrong path. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. You couldn't be more right about the need to establish strong regulation. And we haven't done it yet. Even after this meltdown, we haven't done it. It is scheduled to be the next main issue on the floor after healthcare. And so stay tuned. There are, well, first of all, let me tell you, I've been immersed in this because I'm on the banking committee. And just to share you a little story from this last year, I went back to DC and I had a list of my top choices for committees, and those were first healthcare, second environment and public works, and third banking. And I talked to Senator Kennedy, and with his and his encouragement and Senator Reid's appointment, I was on healthcare. The same with environment, Senator Boxer and Senator Reid. And but I've been trying to meet Senator Dodd and talk to him about the banking committee. Hadn't succeeded. And then in caucus, I was talking about, I gave the speech you just gave. That we have to crack down on our financial regulation and do a bunch of things in regard to reforming mortgages as well at the retail level. And Senator Dodd slid in the seat behind me, and he said, "Jeff, we need you on the banking committee." And I said, "Well, freshman senators are only allowed 2 major committees. I've been assigned to both of them, but if you could get Majority Leader Reid to assign me to a third, that'd be great." He said, "Well, you'll probably have to give up one of them." I said, "How about if I give up the budget committee? It's not a major committee. It's considered a secondary committee." He said, "Oh, I don't think that Senator Reid will go for that." So I got a call from Senator Reid a week later, and he said, "We need you on the banking committee. He said, but you'd have to give up one of your first 2 committees." I said, "No, I don't think I could do that." He said, and then I said, "But I'd be happy to give up my budget committee." And he said, "Nobody gets off the budget committee." And he hung up. And so he called me back a week later, and he said, "You're on the banking committee." And I said, "Does that mean I'm off the budget committee?" And he said, "No, nobody gets off the budget committee." And he hung up again. And that's how I came to be a freshman with 3 major committees, involved in the healthcare debate, involved in the environmental energy debate, and involved in the financial regulatory debate.
John, your car has rolled off the hill and hit another car, and the police need to talk to you. If you would step to the
I would like to speak because so far it's all been proponents and Democrats, and I would like to
I would like to speak as well.
challenge the senator.
I don't want to challenge. I think we have a system, and I don't believe that we should disrupt the system because someone doesn't feel they've had their chance to speak.
Here's what we'll do.
I've got my own issue.
Come up as soon as we're done, if your number isn't called next, and I'll hear from you directly.
Right, but then it will just be one-on-one.
Yes, it will, but the goal here was to have it be completely fair to everyone. And so I think it's reasonable that we continue.
My point
we don't know
is
who the next person will be.
Some people appear to have been pre-chosen. They were standing up before their numbers were called.
Oh, no.
I want to be called as much as you do, Fred.
Yeah.
So she's pulling them randomly out of this bowl, and she's got one more number.
Number 113. Thanks again for understanding that the key to healthcare reform is affordability for low and middle income people. We talked about this yesterday, Senator. Thank you. I hope you'll talk to Senator Reid about making sure that low and middle income people can afford the health care in the new plan. I did want to ask you a quick question. You talked about people in this country. One of the things that we hope to fix in the final bill is the issue of immigrants who are here with legal status but have to wait 5 years to be enrolled in Medicaid. And the hope that something can be done so that if they have legal status, they can get into Medicaid at the same point in time, just like anybody else in this country. And I just wanted to ask you for your view on that.
I'll look into the issue. I'll try to find out what the reasoning was behind it. I'm not sure if it was to encourage folks not to come to the United States for the purpose of the healthcare system. I'm not sure what the thinking is. So let me find out more about it, and thank you for raising it. So I think, was that our last question? So I want to thank the college again for hosting this event. I'll be here the next 15 minutes. And so anyone who didn't get their question answered, please come up and ask it. And I just want to thank so many people for showing up here. This is a great turnout. We've got a lot of big challenges. Together we can put our nation back on track. Thank you very much.